All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, episode 7. Episode 7. We've survived episode 7. I'm still here. I'm going to go very quick tonight because we have a superstar guest on the show and we have a lot to discuss. So, welcome back inside a runner's world presented by Printer Run. I'm your host, Chris. This is a show where we look beyond the finish lines to highlight the stories, the purpose, and the heart driving our running community forward. Today, I am honored to be joined by a guest whose whole life is a masterclass in service, get my teeth back in, vision and impact. She's an Army veteran, an author, a dedicated runner, proud mother. She's the founder of the You Matter Foundation for Life and the visionary race director behind the You Matter Juneteenth Freedom 5K, a community event that has transformed from a simple idea and a sold-out national movement. Rooted deeply in a faith, she continues to inspire both people on and off the pavement to recognize their worth, keep it moving forward. I'm watching her in the green room right now, so she's getting ready to come up. Today, we're diving into a background that sparks behind the foundation, what it takes to build a sold-out race from scratch, and how faith anchors her journey. Please join me in welcoming to the show Jamicka Edwards. How are you, my dear?
Hey, Chris, I am doing well. How are you?
Amazing. You look fantastic. Very good. Ready good to rock and roll. We've got a lot to get through tonight. Again, if you're just tuning in, watching live, we are live and direct on YouTube. If you have any comments, we do have a comment section. We'll try and get through as much as we can. If you have any comments, post it. I'll share it on the screen. Any questions, feel free to add them. We'll try and get through as much as possible as we get through the show, but we've got a lot to get through and the show in itself. So Jamicka, before we start, just tell everybody what's your name and where do you come from?
My name is Jamicka Edwards. Oh, I forgot my signature. Hey, y'all. Jamicka Edwards. Originally from Illinois. I am currently residing in Northern Virginia.
Beautiful.
I've lived a lot of places, but this is right now home. I don't know for how long, but this is where I am right now.
Yeah, I was looking at say, we're not a tree, right? We're not stuck where we are. This is I've been to over 100 different countries. It's like the eighth or ninth different state I've lived in.
Wow.
This is the longest I've been in one place, and it's the whole time in the last 23 years I've been in America. But
okay.
We'll see what's next. All right, let's dive right into it. Everyone has a distinct entry point into running. Taking us back to the early days, how did running first enter your life? And how did your time serving in the US Army shape your discipline and relationship with the sport?
Okay, so running. I hated running. And people don't believe me when they meet me or they meet me at a race or whatever. They don't believe me, but I hated running. When I was in middle school, elementary school, I ran sprints. But freshman year was the last time I ran track, which was the 100, 200, occasionally the 400, but I hated that. That was too long. So in the military, we had to run in the Army and I did whatever I could to get out of it. I ran very slow. I did not like it. And it wasn't because we were made to do it. I just didn't like running. But 12 years post-military, I set a goal for myself to run 1 half marathon. Every year I've set personal goals, not related to running per se. Lately it has been, but every year since I was in high school, I've always set a personal goal. So 12 years post-military, that one goal was to run a half marathon. And I chose that as my personal goal because I disliked running so much. And I knew that it would challenge me. And I figured, why not? And if I say I'm going to do something, I will do it. So
it's kind of addictive after that, right? It's addictive.
Yes, that I found some plan online that didn't make sense to me. And it didn't cater to anybody. It was just something blanket thing that said run 3 miles this day, run 4 miles this day. And then every weekend, the mileage increased. I used to run nonstop because I didn't know to stop. I never drank water, didn't know anything about nutrition, none of that stuff. Nobody talked about that. But I did it. And after I did that first half, I was like, okay, because I found myself. I started running and I had just went through a divorce. So I was depressed. I had gained weight. I didn't know anything about who Jamicka really was. I had to relearn myself and find what was within me. I prayed, I cried, and talked to God. I met strangers, and the thing about meeting strangers, that's always been a part of who I am. But doing it as a runner is a whole nother level. So
I
that's
think you and I have got a lot in common with military backgrounds and divorces and all that kind of good, and running. So it's why we
and
get
look
on
at us
forward.
smiling.
That's why we get on.
Life goes on.
It does. It does. Tomorrow's another day. So you often
Yep.
speak about your faith in God that keeps you grounded and moving daily. You know, when life gets heavy with miles or gets tough, how does the spiritual foundation carry you through?
Hoo-wee. I feel like I've learned God gives me visions. He gives me wisdom. He gives me discernment. So when I'm running, if I'm by myself, it's usually my time where I'm reflecting on things that I need to do, or if I'm going through something, I am literally, people will say, oh, I don't know how to pray. You just have a conversation. You talk to God like he's a regular person. And sometimes you can get something back. Sometimes I feel like God shows me through visions of things that I see. So I am a visually stimulated runner. I need to see things when I run, and I love nature. That was not something that I would have said 10 years ago.
Right.
But it's through the butterflies, it's through the birds, the different color birds, the different types of birds. I never thought I would be a bird person, but I love seeing cardinals. I love seeing hawks. I love reading to see when I see a specific bird, what that meant. And then I realized that whatever it was that I was dealing with, God was showing me like, it's okay. Or there was some message, like it's if you're open to receive, there's so much with running, which is why I prefer to run outside.
Yeah, and it's similar to me. If I don't get my morning run in, if I don't experience a sunrise or the fresh air, it could be hot, cold, it's something. It just, my day's a different world. It's a different being. So you founded the you founded the You Matter Foundation for Life. What was the turning point, or kind of a personal revelation that inspired you to step up and build this platform for others?
So I wrote a book. The book is entitled You Matter: What Will Living in Your Purpose Every Day Look Like? The book came prior to me becoming a runner, but while I ran, I realized that message in helping people realize their purpose and living in it every day was all a part of God's plan. I couldn't see it. I always knew since I was 14 that I would become a motivational speaker and an inspirator. And I did speaking engagements. I was a keynote speaker prior to running. But when I became a runner and the strangers that I met and being able to encourage them as the average runner, not somebody who runs fast, not somebody who's going to be cute, but somebody who's going to be by your side, step by step, encouraging you, showing you that it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what you've been through, that you matter. So
it's such a powerful statement, right? It's such a powerful statement. And I guess that's kind of how you would go ahead. I probably cut you off, but how you integrate that with kind of like build it for runners and families.
Yes. So with the foundation, in 2021, I started running in 2016 was my first half marathon. I know.
It's the same year.
Yes. And we did run some marathons together, but we didn't even know each other yet.
No.
But 2016, started running. And then as I ran a little bit more, and I was local, I didn't even think that there was races that I would consider to travel to. And now I'm like all over the world. But anyways, in 2021, the goal was to get my running certification. So when I took the class with RRCA, Road Runners Club of America, to get that running certification, while we were in that class, I remember the instructor said, well, if you want to take it up a notch, you can look up USATF. And so I was like, well, let me do that too. So then I got my certification, level 1 with USATF the same year. And then I said, okay, it's time for me to become a true running coach and not only incorporate running with You Matter, but everything that I was doing outside. So I don't talk about it except for around Christmas time and in January, February. But You Matter not only is about health and wellness, but it's about helping homeless people. So January, a lot of people will feed the homeless for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I feel like a lot of times it's kind of commercialized because people sometimes just want to be seen doing, but and at the same token, a lot of people are genuinely doing it from their heart. So those people, I don't take away anything from that. However, January, February are the coldest months of the winter. And oftentimes homeless people are forgotten about. And some people could say, well, it's not, my fault that they're homeless. Nope, it's not. But everybody has a story and we don't know their circumstances. And I had a job at one time where I was a peer support leader. I learned in that job, I just wanted to help. I wanted to help these homeless people get off the street. I thought that's what we were supposed to do. But I was humbled and taken aback and taught that sometimes homeless people just want the assistance. Sometimes they just want the food, but they are comfortable living out where they are. So if God has placed it on your heart to help them in that kind of way, then that's what you do. So beautiful. 2021, I took that, I added the foundation, another layer where me and my sons and some friends have, gotten donations, clothes, shoes, food, and we just drive around our car, and that's called the You Matter Mobile Blessings. And so we go to homeless shelters or just find people on the street in different areas and give that to them. And I've been doing that actually since my son's 13, 14. So, like 2018, been doing that, but I added it into the foundation. And then the other part, which made me want to, make it official, was You Matter Moms. So for Christmas time, I solicit for mothers, single mothers, who people know that they are doing the best that they can and they have at least 2 children, to be a blessing to them for Christmas. Because I, as a single mother, was blessed by so many people when my kids were really young and I'd had nothing at all. But my sons had the best of Christmases. So I remember one time a family, two men owned a construction company, and they surprised us. And I don't know if I've shared this full testimony publicly, but this one Christmas, I almost fainted in the mall. We were to meet these men and their families with, me and my kids. And they told us, they had us, order Chick-fil-A. So we sat down and we were eating, and then they were, talking to my sons, getting to know them. And then we stood up and it's like, okay, so we know, you're a hard worker and we know that you have been through a lot, and we hope that you will allow us to do this for you. And they blessed my sons, each of them, with a $500 to go shopping.
Right.
And my oldest son, he didn't know what to do. My middle son was homesick, but when I told him, he didn't believe it. And then my youngest son, he was too young to even
understand
to fathom it. But I was like,
right,
about to faint, and I'm like, just ugly crying, like, what in the world? So fast forward to now, my You Matter. We'll talk more about the race, I know, but the reason why I want to raise money and give away $500 scholarships, that $500 is significant to what God did for me. And I remember looking at those men and I told them, one day I'm going to be able to do this for somebody else. So not only with the You Matter moms, and I don't have a lot. People assume they think that I have a lot, but what I do have is the favor of God in my life. So I am rich in blessings and favor. But I have friends that support me, that want to see this go forward. So we are able to, friends and family, and we're able to be a blessing to families every year. My goal is to bless 100 moms one year, and then continue to, have that 100 number. I'm not there yet, but
let's talk more about this, because this is something we could maybe work together with and figure something out. But beautiful,
but that's the foundation.
Beautiful. All right, let's move it on now. So you created, probably from the back of this, The You Matter Freedom, sorry, You Matter, I can't even get my head straight now. You just blew me off another level. The You Matter Juneteenth Freedom 5K. It's these dentures,
Yes.
which has grown into a sold-out success, attracting runners from all across the nation. What was it like taking the vision from a concept in your head to a packed starter line?
Well, earlier you mentioned to me, about God giving you a dream, and God gave me a dream for this race. It was not meant for me to, I didn't think it was meant for me to start a Juneteenth race when I didn't even grow up knowing what Juneteenth was. It wasn't until, about 9 years ago, someone I know whose birthday was on Juneteenth, and I was like, what is Juneteenth? What is that, June like 14th or whatever? So I don't make fun of people when they don't know, but he made me feel real dumb. So I made it a point to learn what Juneteenth was and is, and I already felt like I was a social activist because I worked out of high school at one time. I created a assembly for Martin Luther King because it had never been done, and I was shocked. But myself and another high school student planned it, and we blew it out the water. But since 2006, I have made sure that I've learned more and more Black history because I didn't grow up learning a lot. So anyways, when I moved to the DMV area, I was looking for 2022. I was looking for a Juneteenth 5K to run. I was asking around. There was not one in the DMV area. And then 2023, I was a part of an event that I thought was, related to Juneteenth. And it was to honor Black history, but it wasn't what I envisioned. But that morning, God woke me up at 5:30 in the morning and showed me that I was going to plan a race. It was going to be at a park. It was going to be like a family reunion, backyard barbecue style, that people were going to come together, all colors, all races, to celebrate the freedom of what our ancestors went through Juneteenth in Galveston in 1865. I have been to the African American History Museum since 2019, probably about 30 times. It is my favorite museum. I continue to learn. A lot of times we don't realize how much Black history and culture is out there because of maybe the area where we grew up. A lot of people in the South knew a lot, but a lot of people who grew up in the Midwest and the North, we didn't. But then people will say, well, you should know. How you don't know what you don't know. But
Right.
anyways, why don't you teach me? Why don't you share something with me so that I can know, so then I can go out and seek wisdom? So with the You Matter Juneteenth Freedom 5K is 3 parts. 1, community engagement. 2, education, because my goal is to raise money to give back in scholarships. I was able to go to college and I'll get scholarships, money donated from people, from businesses, from people just giving me checks. So that has always been my heart passion, to give back. And then 3, learning, teaching, making sure our history is never forgotten. The more I live in the DMV area, the more frustrating it gets as our history tries to be erased. And we have allies that are not Black and brown who want to partner, who genuinely want to help make a difference. That's why I say you matter. I don't discount anything that anybody does, but the more of us that can come together, whether it's my Juneteenth, there's a running friend of mine who has a Juneteenth race and, embedded in DC. There are people who hold Juneteenth race, all over the world now. I say, if you can be a part of something somewhere, do it. And not just say to show up, but go and learn more about it and see what you can do throughout the year, because the generation below us, the generations down, they need to know before history tries to continually be erased. It's not like our slavery is real. And I experienced some of it since living here in a particular job. And I I just couldn't believe it, but it's real. So I get very passionate. My face is feeling red right now.
It's just, I mean, the thing with the history, all types of history, is that as the future goes on, we kind of forget the past, and
Yes.
it's like without a past, there's no present,
Yes.
and then you can't really focus on the future and stuff. And it's, I mean, I grew up in England in the 80s, and it was very much, you know, my grandparents still remembered the Second World War. But people, as time goes on, people start to forget about the Second World War and what happened, and you know, the atrocities that happened, because history's kind of forgotten about in schools now, and it's not taught a certain way, or if it's taught with a certain agenda. And like you say, is without a past, there's no present, and we've got to think about that to think about our future. And you know, it's hard to get the next generations to learn about it, because most of them don't just care, and when they don't care and they're not interested in it, that's when we make mistakes, and that's when we tend to, you know, go back into ways that we should never go back into, if I'm perfectly honest. So one big question for you about the whole Juneteenth thing is, and again, from starting this all by yourself, and it's basically, if you could look back at the Juneteenth, I can't even talk tonight. It's because you got me on the barbecue thing. You started talking about food. I'm starving. I had me dinner. Anyway, what is the one specific moment or sight from the event that still gives you absolute goosebumps?
Seeing black people. That's something that I didn't see it in the way that I see it. And not only like the first year, there were 150 people at the park. It's sold out every year, because by faith, I have to guess what the number will be so that I don't over order shirts and medals and all those things. And people don't understand.
Right? That's
it costs money, like
the business, and
all that. So
you can't use that next year.
Yes, and people don't want it next year either.
No, they want new. They want new design, new feature, the whole 9 yards.
New and better and all that. But the first year, I remember we were setting up, and so we were there, you know, before everyone. And I remember like just moving around, and the news was there, and then when it was dark, it was pitch black, but then it started getting light, and then people were coming. And then at one point, I was going somewhere, and I was walking with my oldest son, and I was like, and he was like, "Mom, you did that." And then and I'm about to cry right now thinking about it, because I just wanted to run on Juneteenth. I really just wanted to honor our ancestors. And so the next year there were 250 people participants at the park. There were more volunteers and everything, but 250 people. And those 250, out of those, there was like a group of 10, 15 that came from Boston. There were people who came from Texas, from Florida, from Kentucky, from Indiana, from Illinois. And again, the same moment, I'm always just like rushing, doing, pull everywhere. And then I look up and I see, and people who know me when I run, whenever I'm at a race, I'll be like, I see black people because we are the minority still. And it's always beautiful to see. And I love my white friends. I do, and they know it, but it's just beautiful to see us. So it was the same moment. But this year, I didn't even get to catch my breath. And I held in my tears until I spoke into my son's giving my dissertation. And that's my new nickname, the Jamicka. You know, you gave a whole dissertation, giving my thank yous, because I always want to acknowledge people. And that is a pet peeve with me, when people don't acknowledge people for the things that they do. It takes nothing to say thank you publicly too. Don't tell me, like, when you see me, tell the world, like, don't talk about me at my funeral. Tell the world now and let me hear it too, because I matter, you know, but I make sure everyone else matters. So that biggest thing about it all is just seeing the community of everyone coming together and really recognizing that one is bigger than me, but also God chose me to do this, and I was obedient enough, and I'm just so grateful. And I don't take it lightly, and I take it very serious, but it's a big deal. And I need to embrace it more, because I you know, someone told me the other day, hey, don't you're a whole race director, this is my seventh.
But it's hard to live in the moment when all that's going on and all the emotions, and because you're consciously as a business person, you're trying to make sure everything goes right, and you've got deadlines, you've got times that you've got to start at time. The last runner's got to finish. Is everyone's security, safety figured?
Is everyone happy? Is everyone happy? Does
everyone get their medals? Everyone got their t-shirt? Has everyone got everything? And then before you know it, everyone's gone and you're there by yourself cleaning up. And it's like, it's hard to embrace it and live in the moment of those events because they just go like that.
Yeah, you know what? Look, here's my gratitude again. I will say this. Every year, I don't even know how it's done, but people clean up. I am so thankful. And if anybody is listening in tonight that have stayed to the end, the first year it was a blur. I don't even know. All I know is they was like, okay, mom, come get in the car. And I was like, wait, did you get the garbage? Like, it's done every year. I thank God.
I bet you sleep good. I bet you sleep good that night.
Yes.
You sleep good that night.
Yes.
I'm sure. Feet hurting, sleeping good. All right. Beyond the races, what is the next big goal or vision you're working on for the You Matter Foundation or even your writing? We're running out of time. We've blistered through, but we've got a few things to get through. There's probably going to be a part 2 for this, if I'm honest, but we'll keep going. Keep going.
So the next goal, I don't know. I would say for the foundation. So I have never been an official 501c3 because I never had the bandwidth to do it.
Right.
And it takes, to have a true board and a lot of paperwork. Yeah. So when I started the nonprofit and made that official in the state of Indiana, that's pretty much where it was because I was living in Indiana. I actually learned just before the You Matter Juneteenth race that my nonprofit was administratively dissolved. So I'm like, wait a minute. So then I went through hoops and talked to the state of Indiana, had to talk to the IRS, all these things to make sure that everything that I have been doing was right because I had no idea until someone brought it to my attention. But thankfully, June 4th, the You Matter Foundation for Life Incorporated was reinstated. So, and we never lost time. So it's still been established since 2021. To God be the glory. But when I was talking to legal, I said, okay, I want to make sure that I, start the 501c3 because with the 501c3, there are more tax benefits, but also I am able to get more grants. So I have a couple of people who have said, yes, they will be on my board. So that is the next big goal. By the end of 2026, we should be established as an official 501c3 operating in that capacity. And then we'll be able to do more.
It's official. Like you say, then you can go after donations and reach out to big corporations because they want, I work for a corporate company. They want to work with 501c people.
They do.
And it'll push it up there.
I'm grateful for the people who have donated without looking for the tax.
That's what's going to get you to that next level. Those folks get you to that next level. Hopefully they'll stay on. So if you could go back in time, now I'm going to word this differently. So if you could go back in time, I normally say the beginning of your running journey, but let's talk the beginning of the You Matter journey. What is a single piece of advice that you would give to your younger self?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Don't worry about the people who don't like you because they don't matter.
I like it.
And they're not going to stop you from achieving what God has called you to do. Don't worry about trying to please people that will leave your life anyways because they don't matter. Focus on the people who show you that you matter to them and vice versa. Hold on to those people. Never take them for granted because you won't get people like that in your life a second time.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Lightning round. We might just squeeze this into 30 minutes. So to wrap things up, give us your immediate, unfiltered, but gut reaction to the following. All right. I can just see this. I want my glasses on. Early morning miles or evening runs?
Evening for sure. And matter of fact, let me say real quick. Look, I got to talk about this 5 seconds. Peachtree, this is not a pretty shirt. I went out to go run today, but I walked. But there was a neighbor, it was a guy in my neighborhood, and he could see me far away, that when he came up to me, he said, I just want to, that's Peachtree, right? And I said, yes. Now we're here in Virginia, and the Peachtree is in Atlanta. But that my heart is still in Atlanta, by the way. If you have not done Peachtree 10K, do it.
I've seen the amount of people that run it.
It was incredible. But anyway, so I am an evening runner. I try to catch the sunset. I will run early with someone if I have to, or if that's the only option, but I prefer evening.
All right, lightning. That's the first thing we've disagreed on all night, but we'll continue. All right, a high energy running playlist or total silence and nature?
High energy, high. Everybody knows that high energy.
High five from start to finish. Even going to the bathrooms, high fiving people.
But sometimes, I do play a little like Alex Isley, Cleo Soul.
Okay.
Yeah, I listen to a little something.
All right.
Yeah.
Where are we? Ultimate post-race meal. This is normally the cheat meal, the binge thing.
A good juicy burger from somewhere. My girl Cherie, hopefully she'll hear this. She and I, we're both Aquarius. Our birthdays are 2 days apart. We will have a burger before a race and after a race. A good juicy burger from anywhere, everywhere. Berlin. I think that was my post race when I finished. Berlin. If anybody is running Berlin and you go to the JW Marriott,
Okay. Yeah. I like the post-race beer that was waiting at the finish line in Berlin. That did it for me. I'm sure you chugged one of those. All right, cold rain or 90-degree heat?
Either.
You're a Midwest girl. You're a Midwest girl, so
I know, but no. Oh, no. Hold on. I hated running in the cold. I fell in love with running living in Washington State, where it was not cold. It just rained. And so I can run in the rain, whatever. When I moved to Indianapolis, that first year, I thought everybody from the Midwest ran in the cold. I learned that everybody does not. So I was running outside with my nose red when it was below 10 degrees, thinking other people were, and it was like, I'm not running in the winter. I said, what?
They're indoors.
But then I embraced it. I did my 42 miles in the freezing cold, and I loved it. I run. So it could be cold.
Lightning round, Jamicka. Lightning round. All right. Okay. This is going to take long now. 3 words that describe that feeling at the Juneteenth Freedom 5K starting line. 3 words. Just 3 words.
How about 1 word?
Oh, go on then.
Freaking amazing. There's your 3 syllables.
Favorite go-to inspirational quote?
Oh my gosh.
I saw you quote it. You always putting quotes out.
Jeremiah 29:11, all day, every day. Look it up.
Go to karaoke song. Ooh.
That is the hardest thing for me. I don't know, but I would say, I don't know. I'm bad at karaoke.
It's normally like something old, 60s, 70s, that kind of thing. That's where everyone knows the words, because you want to kind of to join in, to drown you or sing it.
It takes 2. It takes 2 raw bass. It takes 2 raw bass.
Can you sing?
No, but people think I can because of my voice.
All right, we'll figure that one out. Guilty pleasure running track. I've got a few of these now. I've got more than I should.
Guilty pleasure running track. Like
what song do you listen to that you kind of wouldn't admit listening to?
Well, shoot, Dreams and Nightmare by Meek Mill. Because I don't curse, but
I played that I tried to put that on one of the things you sent me the other day. In the first line, I was like, I can't put that.
Oh, it's a clean version. There is a clean version.
Oh, okay, I'll keep looking for it. And finally, I was like, the kids will be like, Dad, what does that mean? No, don't worry about it.
Oh, no, I don't play it with my son either.
All right, and finally, in one single word, what does running mean to you, Jamicka?
Running means to me freedom. Freedom to be who you are, however you want to be, period. There's nothing about a pace. It's nothing about a size, but running is you. You are a runner because you chose to put one foot in front of the other, no matter how fast, no matter how slow. If you run, you run, and it's freedom. It's freedom. It's for real freedom to be whatever you want to be.
Beautiful.
Whenever you want to be it.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for coming on Inside a Runner's World. Hope you had fun sharing your story and for all the incredible work that you do to remind people that they truly do matter.
In
Thank you
Sydney.
so much.
Sydney is next.
Sydney is coming around the
We'll talk
corner.
about that in part 2.
Part 2. We'll put a little link down there as well. Thank you, Jamicka. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Wow, we got there. To everyone that's tuning in, thank you for listening so much. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you like who we are and what we do. Each week, 35 minutes this week, 30-minute interviews with different runners from different backgrounds, different stories to tell that I really want to share with the world. My eclectic mix of meeting lots of different people from all different walks of life. I want to bring them to you guys so you can hear their story from inside a runner's world. If you'd like to support the You Matter Foundation, we'll put some links in the clips as well. And also head over to printerrun.com to celebrate your own racing milestone. Again, I found the one that I had with Jamicka that I found in my little backstory earlier. I forgot to mention on the show, she's waving frantically down there as well. So it's a great way of remembering your race memorabilia, printerrun.com. Keep moving, keep believing, and we'll see you next time. Good night, everybody. That's it.